Our next session is Who Really Owns Your Players? Taking Back Control in Mobile Gaming. And we have Mitchell Gray, is the Global Strategic Account Executive at AppsFlyer, and Berkeley Eganes, Chief Marketing and Growth Officer at Exola. Go ahead and say a bit more about yourselves.
Yeah, Mitchell. I've been at AppsFlyer 10 years. I was our first go-to-market hire in 2015. It's been quite the journey over the past 10 years. If you're not familiar with AppsFlyer, we're the market leader in mobile attribution and marketing analytics. We're the third most deployed SDK in the world, third behind Facebook and Google. So I think it's been, like I said, quite a ride over the past 10 years. We work with around 65% of the market, probably around 80% of the gaming market. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Hey guys, Berkeley from Exola. Been with the company almost 5 years. We love putting on these events and putting it together. There's no better place than speak and drink beer at the same time than in Texas. So let's get it going. But a little bit about us. If you haven't come across Exola before, we're a leading video game commerce company. We operate in over 200 geographies around the world, really to help you guys solve those challenges of funding, launching, monetizing, and distributing and monetizing your game around the world. And a lot of the things that we do, we've been focused, and you've heard us in the last couple of years, really since things changed with ATT and mobile monetization and where to go. And we took it to the next level this year in partnering with AppsFlyer to be a first of an industry partnership to truly bring an MMP in with a commerce company to be able to look at the whole ecosystem of what's happening for mobile games and see what's going on. One of the biggest challenges you hear is probably one of the cards somewhere is data measurement of your users, where you're coming from. If you're a mobile studio head, you're looking at like 6 dashboards. You got this like compound of video screens around. I got publisher account from Exola, I got Google, I got AppsFlyer, I could have somebody else, whatever, other tools, homegrown applications, and really figuring that out and know what your users are doing, what they're interested in. If you're a free to play game from a mobile perspective, what offers make sense to them? What value are you able to bring and then go into and be able to do that? The world has changed in mobile gaming since Epic stepped up and made the lawsuit and put it together with Apple and Google together, but really looking at it as how does everybody win in that whole ecosystem and to figure it out. How do you monetize online but play on the device? Our goal is to get people back to the device and be able to play, and then you're going to have IAPs that are going to happen and going on. There's a lot changing, it continuously changes. We wake up every morning probably like, oh God, there's something else.
I love privacy.
Yes.
So, all right, so Berkeley did this awesome job of racing through the answer to the first question here already. Even before I asked it, right?
I'm in between meat and you guys, so it's not a good spot to be.
So he read my mind on what I was going to ask. But Mitchell, let's see what your take is on some of that too. Lots happening in mobile gaming. What's the biggest challenge facing mobile game developers?
Yeah, there's probably the full 52 card deck that resonates. We live and breathe privacy. I think when ATT came out a couple years ago, really shook the industry. It led to the rise of things like web shops. It led to companies eating each other, tons of M&A. CPIs going up, LTVs going down. Very fragmented market. So if I were to talk about the biggest challenge, I think it's privacy and market saturation. Back 5-6 years ago, you were looking at one schema for measurement, deterministic attribution based on IDs. Now there's 8 different methods happening at once. You've got data that's on a 48-hour delay, data that's aggregate, data that's user level, data that requires consent, data that doesn't require consent. So I think that's what AppsFlyer does, is solve for those complexities. And I think those complexities have led to multiple monetization models. Looking at web shops, for example, hybrid monetization with in-app ads and in-app purchases. So yeah, that's a major challenge. I think market saturation also probably talked a lot about that.
And you started going into my second question.
Yeah, I was there.
The answer.
We're trying to move through this.
Slow myself down.
This is awesome. What am I doing up here?
Yeah.
No, what's possible now with mobile games and web shops and MMPs? Let's get Berkeley on that.
So I'll jump in on the web shop perspective. What is possible is you can truly own the user experience throughout. You can create your digital ecosystem, your social media channels, your discords, everywhere else, and really own that experience and bring it into a branded platform. We really look at web shops as an extension of your game. It's a true D2C platform to where you can engage with folks, bring content into it, bring unique offers, test, analyze, see what's working, see what doesn't working. Some of the best things to do is kind of hit a blunt, to use Adam's phrase, and like, oh, that didn't totally work out well, but it got us to first base. So what's the next play? And then we go. We have partners all the time that are looking at what they can do, and they do offers twice a week. And then the community gets radical when you miss it because you're caught in a meeting or something. You're the one responsible for hitting go on that offer, and you're an hour and a half late, and they will light you up. We all know the consumers will get into it. They are active in communicating with you guys. You go, where's my offer? I'm ready to do my game session for the weekend. I want my offer to some value pack or bundle pack or whatever you're going to offer for that week. And it really gets an engagement. If you can own that experience, use the data from a live ops perspective, you will win every single time that you go into it by owning the experience on the web shop. We're seeing tremendous growth. People are like, our web shops for real. They are here and they're not going anywhere. We've launched over 550 web shops for game developers over the last 2.5 years and generated 1.5 billion in incremental revenue for mobile game developers by following the rules, following what's possible, following TOS, and giving the sound advice to mobile game developers. And we bring AppsFlyer in the conversation is like, how do you measure? We don't use words like track. We use words like measure.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means either. Yeah. And like to measure what's happening with the users all the way through the flow.
Yeah, I think the Excel integration was one of our most requested features. We got Shy in the audience, a product manager at AppsFlyer, so he was instrumental in building that. But yeah, I think gaming developers really demanded this. I have some clients that 50% of their revenue is coming from web shops. They're looking for more sources of revenue, whether it's ads, whether it's in-app purchases. In some cases, they're going beyond the app as well. I think one thing that's we're helping marketers to understand like which creative, which keyword is driving the most lifetime value, looking at all of those revenue sources. Something that is important to mention now that we have this Exola revenue inside of AppsFlyer. If you're not familiar with how AppsFlyer works, we're not only just showing you all of your data, all of your performance metrics. We're also part of this flywheel. So we're sending that data back to ad networks for optimization. So when you get that information, this Exola revenue can be signaled back to networks like Meta and Google so that they can then optimize and find users that are more likely to buy on web shops and tailor campaigns towards those type of users. Similarly, they can tailor campaigns towards like your ad whales or your in-app purchase type of users. We see a lot of diversification across these type of campaigns. This revenue only helps us and really just completes the picture, in terms of the data we show.
So, where do you guys see mobile game marketing going in 2025 and 2026?
Well, we're at South by Southwest, so there's a lot of IP music entertainment going on. You're seeing a lot of IP coming into the space, and we're seeing more mobile games being developed that have IP from the movies and music. That window has gotten so much smaller. It used to be, what, 4 months in the movie theater, you would see a movie, and then there was no streaming. Well, all that changed with Netflix, and then brought that in the fold, and that revenue opportunity for the distributors has gotten smaller and smaller. So they're looking at games. They're looking at other opportunities to create other content. We're on calls all the time, and you'll have a studio head and the mobile game developer on the call with us together to really bring that ecosystem in holistically together. So you're going to see more and more of that. I think that comes into it in mobile game developers creating their own IP. So how they can create version 2.0 or an extension or a different storyline that's happening. We've sat with tons of folks recently, particularly on that story as well. And how do you bring that online and talk about the IP? They have a single IP across multiple games. So I think you're going to see some growth that's going to happen there, and you're going to see more of that being a repetitive process.
I think for me, a couple different things. I think we see that at the bottom of the market with the indie gaming publishers, we are seeing a lot of them move to Steam. These marketers are performance heavy. They have this luxury of mobile data. They're taking those skills over to PC and console, where it's mostly been like brand marketing. We now have solutions at AppsFlyer where you can do performance marketing on PC, console, Steam games. So we're seeing those marketers transition over to, and taking their skill sets over to, cross-platform, which I think is really, really cool to see. We're seeing like, cross-platform LTVs, acquiring them on one channel, shopping them and cross-promoting to other channels there. I think AI, we're going to mention AI at some point. AI for things like creative production. We're seeing a boom in creative production. I think it used to cost, hundreds, thousands of dollars to make a video. Now you can use different solutions out there, 10, $20 to make an ad. This could be a voiceover like UGC ad, or something of that nature. We're also seeing AI being used in development. And then at AppsFlyer, we're measuring this with AI. So we're looking at, what elements of the creative are actually moving the needle. So we're kind of the intersect between that boom of production with the measurement of it. Which colors are moving the needle? Is a smile or a frown? Is LeBron or Wimby, moving the needle? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? We're sort of eliminating the concept of tagging. We found that there was an ad and it was the angle that they were looking at the car that drove better performance. You would not be able to find that like in a tag. You're not going to tag that. You might tag day or night. Might tag, woman, man, whatever, whoever was in that ad. But I think AI is really changing the game for measurement and also for creative production.
Well, I think AI cannot do the job I'm doing as the moderator,
No.
bringing this extra sense of
Exactly.
humor to the straight. um, but our last question then is, what is the one piece of advice we have for mobile game developers?
Yeah, I think diversifying your media mix. So, back 5, 6, 7 years ago, you could just dump everything into Facebook and everything would work out. Now we're seeing a more, diverse mix with like AppLovin, Google, Meta, Apple search ads, etc. I think all of in TikTok specific as well, Snapchat. We see that they all play a role. TikTok, for example, may not drive the best conversion, but it has it has people remember those ads the most on TikTok, and we see that some certain ad networks work well together when you run them. Apple search ads, I like to call like the Jerome Bettis of marketing, because they run it in at the 1 yard line. Somebody else did all the work. Mobile is last touch attribution, so you've got to be looking at the full story there. Yeah, I
Awesome.
think that was it.
Berkeley, your advice?
Yeah, I would just say as you're building a mobile game and you're thinking about where you want to go, don't wait. Don't be afraid to do a web shop. Put it in your build plan, put it in your go-to-market strategy. Think about that in the forefront. We're here to help as well. But we'll have you talk to other developers on like how are they successful? How did they do it? Because we all win and all boats rise together as we go into it. It is, I've heard the phrase Justin was talking about. It is like launching a game in a forest. We're all fighting on mobile games. You're fighting for thumbs. We all talk about eyeballs with TV and things like that, but you're fighting for thumbs to go play that game on there. But don't be afraid to launch a web shop and put it into your digital online ecosystem, because then you can test it, you can change it, you can move it on the fly. Web developers will hate me for saying this, but you can move quick. You can make changes on the fly and make updates as you go, but then you're learning, you're optimizing, you're getting more effective, and then go into the conversations. And then you can go cross border with that very, very quickly. You can localize content, engage with that. And you thought, hey, you're a game developer in Austin. As an example, next thing you know, you're blowing up in Poland because it's your game has reached some connection that you with the target audience. You thought you were looking at England or Barcelona or something like that, and the next thing you know, Warsaw is where your game developer, where your players are reaching. Learn from that, optimize, try different things. Don't be afraid and push what's going on, but follow the rules. Follow the rules when it comes to the platforms. Follow the TOS. Very specifically, provide that value. Do something unique that's not in the app store that you're offering. Put it on your web shop and do that. Follow the rules as you go into it, and you will be successful online and then in the app.
Awesome. Let's thank our panelists here, and thank you to Exola for bringing us here.
Thank you guys here at Franklin. We appreciate you.